Hi, Matt.
Hi.
Hi, guys. Welcome to VIVA Physical Media, episode 46. I'm Emalie.
I'm Matt. Hi.
And here we are again.
Yeah, it's my second episode.
Second episode. Hope you guys liked the first episode. We think it went well.
I thought it was great.
Yeah, it was good. I thought it went really well. It's going to be weird because you watched all the episodes before as a fan, and now you're going to be watching...
Yeah, as a critic.
As
somebody who hates myself.
Who's like, oh, God. Yeah. Well, that's why... And I don't know if you guys...
Watch them?
I skimmed through.
Okay.
I skimmed through. I don't know if you guys know this. I think we mentioned it before, but now I'm on Matt's podcast. And so now it's kind of like that for me because I was a fan listening to every episode. And
Did you listen to the new one?
No, I'm too scared.
It's really good. You did great.
Okay. I mean, I saw some good feedback online, so that made me happy. But yeah, it is weird once you've like inserted yourself into something you were previously an audience to.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think it's going well.
It's like sticking your hand into a bag of food and you don't know what they ordered.
Ooh, it's like in Halloween, those games where you stick your hand into the bowl and they're like, it's eyeballs, it's grapes. But maybe it's eyeballs, who knows? Who really knows? Does anyone check? I don't know. Who checks?
What a mystery.
Anything new in your life?
Well, I'm on this new show.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's about it.
I feel like I've just been watching a lot of stuff for suspense, and then stuff for this. Nick, did I tell you that Nick started watching all the Harry Potter movies in order?
Sorry.
He's never watched them before. He's never read any of the books, and he knows nothing about... He's watching it completely removed culturally from it, which I think is really fascinating.
Cool. Does he like it?
He says they're all right so far. He's only watched a couple. But it's just... he does this sometimes, and it's so interesting to see someone... Because I was so immersed in that Harry Potter-ness, because I was the same age as Harry Potter when all that shit came out. And I didn't watch all of them or whatever, but I watched enough to know the vibe and everything and know about it. So it's interesting to see someone watch them for the first time.
I had a girlfriend at the time who was really, really into Harry Potter, so we watched them all, and she watched them at home a lot. So I've seen them a ton, but I have no affection for it whatsoever.
Yeah.
So for me, it was
I kind of take it or leave it. I remember it was one of the first really long movies I ever saw in the theater of memory.
Everybody thinks it's the worst adapted one.
Is your favorite one?
It's my favorite one, yeah.
Which one's that?
Part 5, Order of the Phoenix.
I ask you that it's gonna make sense to me when you say that. I'm like, oh, it's that, Order of the Phoenix.
It has a wizard fight at the end, and Gary Oldman's doing a thing.
Ooh, have I told you about my idea for a Gary Oldman theme party?
No.
Okay, I've been thinking about doing this for 10 years, and I keep putting it off because I want to execute it perfectly. And it's just, basically you just come as one of your favorite Oldmans because he does so much, and his characters are very different and very...
show up in a suit and start yelling at people.
Yeah, you could do that.
How many people are coming to the party? Everyone! Right?
I guess you could be his character in Harry Potter, who I don't know off the top of my head.
He plays Gary Oldman in that.
Okay, we got Sid Vicious.
Oh, yeah.
We got in True Romance's character.
Yeah, I could be Drexel.
Drexel.
What is a Drexel, anyway?
What is a Drexel? We have
Bram
Stoker's.
Dracula.
Yeah, I was the vampire movie.
You could be Winston Churchill.
You can be from Fifth Element.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Hitler.
There's a lot. You can be Commissioner Gordon.
Another guy in a suit.
Another guy in a suit with a big mustache. Anyways, I really want to do this someday, and but I just have to do it the right way because I can't continue to do it more than once.
Oh, I don't think that's true.
You think I could have an annual Gary Oldman party?
Yeah, you could do it at least more than once.
That sounds kind of fun too. Scarecrow stuff. Keep your eyes and ears out for news on Video Store Day. I know it's in the long future, but it's actually not that long away.
By the time this airs, it will not be that far in.
Yeah, and that also means October is coming up, which means Psycho Challenge and just fun spooky stuff. Any other Scarecrow related news? I can't think of any right now.
No, not really.
Cool, so let's jump into this episode.
Mailbag.
That was good.
I liked that one. That was cool.
I went deep.
Yeah, I liked that.
Rolling deep.
Good choice.
That was good.
Rolling in the Deep by Adele.
I was rolling in the deep. I was deep in the valley.
We have Mailbag. We didn't have Mailbag for a while, and then we got some Mailbags.
We got some good mailbags
today.
We
So
got
thank
one
you
in
guys for
particular
coming
that is
through.
insanely elaborate.
Yeah, and it's going to be really fun. It's
going to be good.
To go off it. But what do we got first?
Well, let's start at the beginning. We did get a picture from Andy Ryan of his cat, Rocky. So here's a picture of Rocky.
Rocky is so cute. And yeah, please I know we always talk about dogs, but please send pictures of your cats. We love cats too.
We love your pets.
Yes. Rocky, adorable.
So thank you, Andy, and thank you, Rocky. Next question is from Nick, who sent us the question last time about Ernest.
The controversial question about
Ernest question. And he asks 2 questions this time.
Yes.
He says, hi, Matt, Emily, Rich, and Kevin. And he also says, sorry, Emily, my phone keeps autocorrecting your name.
That's okay, it happens.
Hi, Matt, Emily, Rich, and Kevin. Since my Ernest question proved controversial, I'd like to try again. Very well, Nick. What is either or both A, your favorite post-Saving Private Ryan Spielberg movie?
Do you want to go right now?
No, you go first.
I am not a big Spielberg head post-Saving Private Ryan, it looks like, but I'm going to say War of the Worlds.
It's a great movie.
Yeah, it's really creepy.
That movie, Kevin and I went and saw that movie on the day it came out, and we got very drunk beforehand, and we were very upset. Like, it scared the shit out of us.
Yeah, it's scary. I saw it at the Alderwood Mall when it came out, and I walked outside, and a storm was happening.
Oh. We used to say that when that movie came out, we used to say that, like, Spielberg is like your movie dad, and your dad knows better than anyone else how to, like, really scare the shit out of you.
That's true.
So yeah, that's a great choice.
It's effective.
I have a hard time picking my favorite Spielbergs from this period because I'm a huge Spielberg fan.
Yeah.
I love most of his movies, but looking through the filmography, I would say, first of all, just want to give a little shout out to War Horse. I think War Horse is really, really underappreciated. But I think I like, and also I don't even hate Crystal Skull that much. Like,
So I just watched that the other day for the first time, and I was like, this is fun.
it has good stuff in it.
It's fun.
I think the first half is especially good.
It's fun to watch with a few people and some beers, you know?
Yeah.
Why not?
I actually know the dude who animated The Fridge.
Oh, really?
Yes, and he said that he had to do it many, many, many times, and he was very upset about it, and also he hates the movie, so he thinks I'm insane because I don't think it's that bad. He also animated the swinging balls in Transformers: Revenge of the Fallen.
I am directly below the enemy scrotum.
My buddy Scott animated that, and he's
Is that a Bay-directed Transformers?
Yeah, they all are.
With architectural balls. I still want to write my thing on like sexuality and city skyscrapers in Michael Bay movies, and that just adds to.
Just keep going. Yeah, you should do that. I would love to see that. Anyway, my pick is kind of a tie, but heavily leaning towards number 1, AI. Number 2, Munich. Also, Minority Report's really good. And so is Catch Me If You Can.
Catch Me If You
There's a
Can
lot
is
of good
almost
ones.
another
And
pick.
I like Bridge of Spies, The Post. They're all good.
Yeah.
I mean, some of them are dogs.
You're a big Spielberg.
I'm a big
head.
Spielberg guy. Yeah.
What was the second question?
The second question is your favorite pre-Hard Target John Woo movie.
Oh, I didn't look this up. Give me one moment, but you can go if you know your answer, and I will listen, even though I'm on my phone.
I do know my answer. My answer, pre-Hard Target, that's like kind of an easy question because that encompasses his like sort of his 3 masterpieces that he made like immediately before coming to America. So I mean, you've got The Killer and Hard Boiled and Bullet in the Head. I think most people would choose between The Killer or Hard Boiled, both of which are complete masterpieces. But I would choose Bullet in the Head. Bullet in the Head is my favorite John Woo movie, period. And I think that it is sort of his most idiosyncratic and purest expression of sort of his style. If I was asking that question, I would ask, what's your favorite pre-The Killer John Woo movie? Because a lot of people haven't seen much of his stuff pre-The Killer. And the answer to that question for me would be a movie called Heroes Shed No Tears.
Jeez.
Which is insane.
I haven't seen anything pre-Hard Target except for Hard Boiled.
Well, I mean, that's a great answer.
That's my answer. Also, what should I see then?
Well, you should see Last Hurrah for Chivalry, which is like a pure martial arts movie.
Got it.
And you should definitely see Heroes Shed No Tears, which will nuke you. That is insane. And then you got to see the first 2 of Better Tomorrows.
Okay.
Even the second one that he sort of famously disowned, but is still amazing.
Got it. Cool. Let us know in the comments your guys' favorite post Saving Private Ryan, Spielberg, and pre-Hard Target John Woo, because I'm interested.
We have more questions.
Yes.
Troy Barber. Good old Troy.
Good old Troy.
Stalwart.
He's a fan.
And he's got like a really, really long question research project for us tonight.
Yes, I love it.
Okay. Hi, Emily and Matt and Rich. When I visited Seattle and Scarecrow in May, I did a little browsing of the aisles and I made a note of a few titles I had never heard of for future rental. One was a sweet and simple gay story of unrequited college love, 1965's Winter Kept Us Warm. I have seen a ton of queer cinema, but somehow had never come across this title. It was a familiar queer story, to be sure, and while not amazing from a technical standpoint, it was still really engaging, given the low-budget, indie pre-Stonewall filmmaking. Filmed by a very young director at the University of Toronto, it, according to IMDb, also influenced David Cronenberg, who was a student there at the time and knew some of the actors. Being 1965, it's pretty subtly queer, and apparently even some of the student actors didn't really get the whole subtext. It would make a nice pairing with some new queer cinema from the 90s to contrast how much things had changed between 1965 and, say, Gregor Rocky. So I wanted to say thank you to your shelves for this pleasant discovery, and I just dropped it off in the mail today. He says it should be back soon with the other 5 movies I rented.
Well, awesome. I want to check that out.
Thank you, Troy. So that's his brief recommendation. Now, his question. I'm used to your DVDs having an ID number of 5 to 6 digits, but Winter Kept Us Warm was only 3 digits, number 915. Can you explain the numbering system? Does this low number mean that it was likely handled by Rebecca or George Latsios themselves? And for those who don't know what Troy is talking about, Rebecca and George were the founders of Scarecrow Video. Thank you, Troy. That's an amazing question, and we've actually done some research here to answer all of your questions and queries here. So, the numbering system. There is no sort of hard and fast organizational rule for it. We don't just keep adding numbers in sequential order. Now, we do add numbers in sequential order, but because we're sort of constantly cycling older titles out of the inventory, like only in the case of, let's say, if we get a DVD of something that we previously had on tape, or a new edition of something comes out and we need to replace a copy, something like that.
A re-release or something.
So sometimes old numbers get jettisoned and recycled. So number 91578 might not be the same title that it originally started out as being.
Well, also, when we buy heavier new releases,
yes,
we'd have 10 copies of something.
Correct.
But we're only going to keep one of those in our library, so we're going to recycle 9 of those numbers again for another set of new releases.
Right. So no, this doesn't necessarily mean
number 1 is the oldest.
Number 1 is the oldest title. It also doesn't necessarily mean that number 915 is old enough that it was handled by Rebecca and George. And I looked it up, and it wasn't.
Sorry.
But you also asked in a follow-up question, if it's easy to pull up, can you read the 10 movies that are labeled number 1 through 10 in your system? I'm not sure I'll ever read something lower number than 915. And we looked all that stuff up for you, Troy.
Yeah, we have them here.
Got a nice stack. Okay.
I'm actually interested because Matt went and grabbed these, so I have no idea.
And I've got some dates on here, too.
Look at him putting in the work. New co-host over here, right? Doing the labor.
Okay, and I haven't really looked at these either. I just pulled them.
Yeah.
Okay, so number one in the system is this title, American Angels. I have seen this movie. It's a lady wrestler movie, and it's made by Fred and Beverly Sebastian, and they made, I want to say, one of the Gator Bait movies. Is that right, Rich?
Jan McKenzie was in Gator Bait, too, so it probably makes sense.
Gator Bait was Beverly and Fred Sebastian.
Yep, that's them. Okay, good. Thank you, Rich.
So is that a husband and wife director?
Yeah. I watched all their movies, and this one's pretty good. It has all the silly, exploitative parts, and also a really good story about sort of the camaraderie of these young women.
Well, dang.
It's super good.
Well,
so
recommendation
that's
here.
Number one, not the oldest title we have in the system. I'll get to the oldest ones of this stack. I didn't look up the oldest titles we have. Number two is this punk rock VHS about the band The Mentors. The Mentors, a piece of cinema, spelled with an S.
Nice.
Explore the world of America's favorite porn rock band, The Mentors, in their first authorized video release. Feature segments of live concert footage, candid, uncensored conversations with the band, the legendary Get Up and Die, the 12-minute fuck movie extravaganza, and the new Down Home and Raunchy 4F Club production. And there is much, much more. So that's number two.
That sounds very cool.
Number three is a DVD.
Uh-oh.
The documentary Kids for Cash. This is the lowest numbered DVD that we have in the collection, but it was accumulated in December of 2014. So that'll give you a little bit of an idea of how like something that came in a lot later gets a really low number. Let's see.
Whoa, cool.
Number four is something called True Confessions. It doesn't actually have the title on the front. It has it on the thing here.
Is this Shia LaBeouf in this?
That is Little Shia right there.
Okay, this is like a Disney original movie, you guys. I remember watching this when it came out on TV. Oh my God.
Now, tell me more.
Incredible.
Tell me more.
I think he plays a kid with autism, and his older sister is doing like a presentation on him and follows him around with a video camera or something. And
That
through
would appear to be the case because there's like a video camera on the back here, and
Yeah,
it says that he plays Trudy's disabled brother.
Yeah, and then through that, I think you kind of like see her like frustrations and also like her understanding and their special relationship. I remember it being one of those very hard-hitting Disney original movies. That's so funny. I haven't thought about that in like 20 years.
But this also has a Buy Request sticker on it, which back in the day meant that we had to go in the attic to get it. Number 4 or 5. Dial Help. It says an erotic thriller.
It tells you that right away.
Ooh,
You gotta
directed
know.
by Ruggero Deodato, who did the original Cannibal Holocaust, right? And a really shitty movie called Cut and Run, which is a lot of fun.
Are you gonna take that home to watch it?
No. She's sexy, successful. They're twisted, obsessed. Her life is about to be disconnected. And it stars Charlotte Lewis. And let's see, do I recognize any other names here? Music by Claudio Simonetti. I think Charlotte Lewis is the lady vampire that seduces Alyssa Milano in Embrace of the Vampire. Not positive about that statement, but that's what I think. We're getting into...
Charlotte Lewis, in parentheses, star of Golden Child.
Oh, is she in the Golden Child? Number 6, High Stakes, starring Sally Kirkland. Sizzling performance as Melanie Rose / Bambi, a high-priced call girl who's looking for a way out of a dangerous world in which she lives. A chance encounter with a disillusioned stockbroker, played by Robert Lupone, offers an escape for them both. Riveting performances and a top-notch supporting cast make High Stakes a taut, dramatic thriller about the price of love, loyalty, and freedom.
It's a high price.
Do I recognize any names on this? Richard Lynch is in this, but he's in everything. There are games in the night that can kill. Tonight she has to play them all.
Oh.
All right, then.
Well, good luck to her.
Number 7, Time Troopers. Time Troopers. In a nightmarish future world, there is only one punishment: death. In a devastated post-nuclear world, a new society has emerged. Energy units have replaced money, and everyone lives and dies by their life card. Len is part of a roving band of cruel executioners. His job is to terminate citizens who have misused their energy chips. You better watch out for that shit.
Can't misuse
But
those.
when he's ordered to kill the woman he loves, the ultimate terror begins. They'll read you your rights.
Your last rights.
Time Troopers. Okay, so the reason I held on to these are the oldest ones in this stack. They were all accumulated according to our old inventory system, Brain, which is called Brain, in January of 1994. Number 8. John Fitzgerald, American author. Never heard of this guy.
Straight to the point. There it is. Whoa. He was probably a really good author.
Who cares? Number 9, Young Warriors.
Okay, I'm listening.
It's a Golan Globus production.
Okay.
The Mark of Quality. Stars James Van Patten, Anne Lockhart. What do we got here? Oh, Ernest Borgnine, Cabby You Slime, and Richard Roundtree.
Okay.
And Linda Day George. An action-packed vigilante thriller. What do you get if you cross Animal House with Death Wish? Young Warriors, a unique combination of fraternity hijinks, high-speed action, wildly imaginative animation, and hard-driving rock.
Oh, fuck.
Kevin, Scott, Stan, and Fred are your typical fun-loving frat brothers whose most
Yes.
violent acts to date have been popping beer cans and staging panty raids. This might need to go on Raunch.
Is this like a post-apocalyptic raunch?
It's in the bang section.
Okay.
Things change drastically, however, when Kevin's teenage sister is brutally murdered by a street gang. College kids by day, by night they are ruthless vigilantes, out for revenge. Kevin's father, a police lieutenant played by Ernest Borgnine, and his partner Richard Shaft Roundtree are trailing the killers, but they're not moving fast enough for Kevin and his friends. Linda Day George, as Kevin's mom, can't convince him to leave the investigation to the pros, nor can his college sociology professor, comedian Dick Shawn, in a rare dramatic appearance. The suspense builds to a fever pitch, and the action is fast and furious as young warriors race the police to close in on the killers. You'll never forget the explosive excitement of the shocking climax. I have to take this movie home right now.
This sounds very good.
This sounds amazing. I would have never encountered this probably if it weren't for Troy, so thanks you, Troy. Number 10, Sidney Lumet, From Theater to Film.
That's the most exciting cover I've ever seen.
Way more exciting, yeah, way more exciting cover. This program is an illustrated exploration of how stage plays can be translated to the screen with particular attention to the work of director Sidney Lumet. And there's a lot of other stuff on here that we could say, but it doesn't have anything to do with Dick Shawn or a rare dramatic appearance.
Yeah, it's No Young
or anything
Warriors.
like that. It's No Young Warriors. So, yeah, sorry, Sidney Lumet.
So that was 1 through 10.
R.I.P. Yeah, that was 1 through 10.
That was a really interesting mailbag because I feel like I've thought about that before, but I've never like gone through and looked at actually all the titles.
That was spectacular. Just spectacular. Well, that's it. Thank you, Troy. That was an amazing question.
Yeah, thank you. If you guys want to ask us any questions or comments, give us recommendations, ask for recommendations, any questions about how the store works or whatever, send us pictures of your animals or your DVD collection or, you know.
Really anything. Well, don't send us pictures of anything.
Yeah, you guys know where the line is.
Use a little bit of discretion.
Don't cross the line. viva@scarecrow.com. Or you can like give us real life gifts.
Yeah.
And our address is
5030 Roosevelt Way, Northeast, Seattle, Washington, 98105.
Yep, and that is Mailbag. My first pick to tell you guys about is this New Zealand movie called VIGIL. Have you seen this?
Mm-mm.
Let me just put it right here. I stumbled upon this. I think I was like putting movies away in the New Zealand section, and I was, an Arrow. You know, you see the Arrow release, and then you're like, well, what's this? Somebody must think it's pretty cool. So I grabbed it, and it was made in 1984, directed by Vincent Ward, who also did What Dreams May Come and a couple other things, but I've only seen What Dreams May Come. So, and it is a very like slow moving, very atmospheric drama about this girl. She's 13. Her name's Lisa. Her nickname's Toss, and she lives in this like isolated farmhouse with her mom and her dad and her grandfather. And one day she is out hunting with her dad.
Hey, Dad! Where are we going?
To the tops.
And her dad is trying to grab this sheep that's falling in like a crevice. And he falls basically into the crevice of this mountain, and she freaks out and she calls for help, and no one's coming except for this mysterious hunter who comes and grabs the body and brings the dead body of her father back to the farmhouse. And stays on as farmhand. And then from there, things kind of move on in a strange way. He kind of continues to stay there and develops a relationship with her mother and a weird kind of relationship with her grandfather.
I was going to burn that stuff I cut down yesterday. Anything else to go on the pile?
Burning can wait. There are 1,200 lambs should have been docked 3 weeks ago.
To get your head up and what happens?
Dad, you took on this farmhand.
That jacket's a bit small for you. We'll see if there's another lying about.
You think you're so clever.
And she's just kind of being the observer. And it's very minimalistic, but it's so beautifully filmed. It's the cinematographer Alan Bollinger, who also did the cinematography for Heavenly Creatures, which is another one of my favorite movies. And you kind of have this tension boiling under the surface, because you're seeing all of this through the eyes of this young girl who's dealing with her own kind of coming of age, as well as this new father figure slash man, because they're in the middle of nowhere, and all of a sudden there's this new man, and she's a young girl, so she's like, is this a father figure? Is this like something that's contributing to my budding sexuality? All of this stuff is kind of under the surface.
And he knows about deer, and they get scared.
He knows about deer, all right.
He's strange. He captures spirits and puts them in glass.
Man of many parts, isn't he? Tell me some more about this stranger.
I sucked his finger.
What do you mean?
Meanwhile, she's having weird fantasies and weird nightmares that are kind of adding to this kind of pastoral fantasy vibe that we're getting. And it's really, really beautiful, and it's really good, and it's something I've never heard about before. It was nominated for the Palme d'Or at Cannes, and it won some New Zealand Film and TV awards. It won Best Original Screenplay, Best Cinematography, and Best Production Design. And yeah, it's really good. Never heard about it before. Definitely one of those physical media discoveries of like literally browsing the shelves and finding something that looks interesting, and it turns out that it's actually a hit. So I definitely recommend it.
You got it going, Grandpa!
First movie. Oh, yeah, this is a good one. I watched this again this week.
I like how the order is a surprise to you.
Yeah,
You're like,
it is. So this is one of my favorite and most underappreciated Arnold Schwarzenegger movies, Red Heat. Oh, this is a terrific film. This is from the great director Walter Hill. I want to say this is, what, 1988? Yeah, 1988. And it's pretty standard buddy cop stuff, like narratively. Arnold Schwarzenegger plays a Russian cop named Ivan Danko.
Пошли. Все вместе.
Who comes to Chicago
Very cool name.
to bust a Russian gangster who escaped his clutches in Moscow. And he ends up getting teamed up with the Chicago policeman Art Ridzik, played by the great Jim Belushi, who we all love.
Freeze, motherfucker! Don't get nervous. I do this for a living.
You know, it's sort of your standard like fish out of water buddy cop stuff. What makes this movie interesting, beyond the fact that it has like really good action and a fun Arnold performance, is that it's very, very wise to sort of the tropes of American buddy cop movies. Mm-hmm. It's sort of doing like a 48 Hours thing. You know, it's profane, it's violent. The two of them don't get along, and then they eventually develop a grudging respect for each other.
Of course.
Stuff like that. You know, because it was made during the Cold War and is sort of actively discussing the differences between the Soviet society and Soviet law enforcement and American society and American law enforcement.
Where can we find him?
In jail.
Miranda law is there?
Yes, Miranda's there. Even scumbags have rights in this country, I told you.
The Soviet Union, only after 2 days can scumbag talk to lawyer.
You're shitting me.
I'm not shitting on you.
What it kind of comes down to, rather than being like the kind of propaganda that you would expect from an 80s buddy cop movie, it ends up sort of suggesting that law enforcement on both sides is an application of fascism. It's really, really interesting. There's an amazing scene in the middle of this movie where they go to a prison to interview a guy who has had contact with the dude, the Russian gangster that they're pursuing. And he's a black militant who is operating his criminal empire from behind bars. And basically what this guy says is...
And I've come to understand that this country was built on exploiting the black man. Of course, I don't hear anything about brothers in your country. But your country exploits its own people just the same, so I guess that makes me the only Marxist around here. Right, comrade? You see, this ain't just no drug deal. This is politics, baby. This is economics. This is spiritual. I plan to sell drugs to every white man in the world. And his sister.
He's not afraid of the cops, and he's happy to deal with the Soviets because the communists don't hate him just because he's black.
Yeah, right.
And it's really fascinating. Like, this movie is not brilliant, it's not secretly subversive, but it does have a really interesting perspective on the kind of movie that it is, while still delivering, like, all of the good, like, thrills and chills of a good buddy cop movie.
Fun.
It's super violent. It also has a really great supporting cast. Peter Boyle's in it.
And I don't want you rolling through this town like the Red Army.
National treasure Gina Gershon is in it.
Now look, you went to see Victor Rasta in jail. What are you talking about?
The weather, taxes, inflation.
Baby Lawrence Fishburne is in it.
Oh.
They tipped you to a big clean head deal? Oh, man, don't tell me we're popping the clean heads here. I hate the goddamn clean heads.
Are you this close to losing your job?
Oh my god, it's so good. It's super, super underrated. I was watching this the other night with my girlfriend and I was like, they should totally make a sequel to this where they go to Moscow and now Belushi's the fish out of water. It's so awesome. I've loved this for ages. Only in the last few years was I sort of aware enough of what it was doing to appreciate all the stuff that's not just like the fun parts.
Yeah, I haven't seen this one, but all of it sounds up my alley for sure.
Super, super awesome. And it also has one of the best like cuts to end credits ever, because just like the last shot of the movie is Arnold Schwarzenegger standing in Red Square and saluting the camera. And it's just an awesome cut with great music. It's super rad. I love Red Heat. Please watch this. It's so good.
Check it out.
How you doing, honey?
Blow yourself.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Good thinking.
One of my new favorite movies, Out of the Blue.
My handle's gorgeous. Pretty vacant, eh? My dad's handle's flesh. Subvert normality.
So this came out in 1980. It's directed by Dennis Hopper. And it just finally got a Blu-ray and 4K restoration, which is amazing because it just looks so good. It sounds so good, too.
Did you get to go see it when it played at the Beacon?
I did. Sweet. That was the first time I'd ever seen it.
Awesome.
So that was my first experience seeing it several months ago, and it was so good that
Thanks, the Beacon.
It's like, yes, thank you, the Beacon. Check out the Beacon if you're in Seattle. So this movie has kind of an interesting origin story in that it was originally going to be like a Canadian kind of made-for-TV special about addiction and dysfunctional families, and whoever was making it and the producers that were paying for it, it just kind of fell through. And at the time, Dennis Hopper was hired as an actor for the movie, and he didn't want to see the project be shelved. So he grabbed it, and over a weekend that was probably also full of alcohol and cocaine, etc., he basically rewrote the entire script.
Thanks, alcohol and cocaine, for Out of the Blue.
Yeah, right? It's starring Linda Manns, who was in Days of Heaven as the little girl and the narrator, and she was also later in Gummo. And then she was in a few other things, but this is her only leading role, and she's absolutely amazing. She's like a young teen girl, very like East Coasty, very street smart.
Fuck you, motherfucker! I hope you get in the wreck tonight!
This movie is basically about her and her family, and she lives with her mom because her dad is in jail because he drunkenly drove a semi-truck into a school bus full of children while she was with him on their way to like a Halloween thing, because she was dressed up as a clown, he was dressed up as a cowboy, and we see flashbacks to that very often because she can't stop having nightmares about it. And so it's her on the days leading up to his release, and he's played by Dennis Hopper. And once he is released, the story kind of goes how he tries to reintegrate himself into his family unit, and he tries to make amends with his wife, who's already seeing other people, and she's also an addict, and he's trying to basically apologize and be there for his daughter.
What do you think about that? You like that?
That'd be, oh yeah, I wouldn't have to go to school no more. Oh, dynamite, do it, do it, do it!
But as we see more and more of what's going on, it's revealed that they have a much darker family history.
You know, wait a second, she's my daughter too, you know. Huh?
Yeah. Baby,
yeah.
baby.
What's the matter with you,
Your
Kathy?
teddy bear.
What's the matter with you? We're having a good time? We're having a picnic?
I'm cold. Lead me anywhere. Oh, let
Before was my driving, huh?
You know, without saying too much more. The movie is so cool and so beautiful. Soundtrack, we have Elvis, we have Neil Young, we have this like punk band. I forgot the name of the punk band, but it's like a real punk band from like Vancouver, BC. And there is a scene where she goes to the show and she drums with the actual band. And it's just such a gritty and realistic movie following this girl who is in between putting on this facade of being super tough and being like, you know, everyone's left me, my dad left me, Johnny Rotten left me, Elvis died, all these people, so I gotta be punk, you know, I gotta be my own person and like fuck the hippies, subvert normality, these are all the things she keeps saying.
Well, fuck you! Wow. You big chicken shits. Subvert normality.
But then at night she like goes to sleep and she's sucking her thumb and she's in between being a child and needing to be taken care of and then also being, well, no one's going to take care of me the right way, so fuck all of them. And it's a thematic telling about how 60s counterculture and her parents' generation kind of fucked them all over, and now there's this decaying dream of chaos and like the nihilism that came with like the early 80s. And it's just such an amazing, beautiful movie. And I'm so happy. I guess like Natasha Lyonne and Chloe Sevigny were the ones who like championed for this 4K. And they're awesome and they're only cooler for doing this.
I think she's
and the
just
end of
incredible.
the end of this movie, obviously not going to spoil it, but it's such a fucking punch to the stomach. It's at the end of this movie,
bleak.
let's just say it ends with the ultimate punk gesture, is what she calls it. So check this out if you never have. Now it's available. It's not streaming anywhere at all. I just wrote about this for the Unstreamable blog on
which you should
Scarecrow.
absolutely check out.
Check it out. But definitely try to get your hands on this because it's a movie like I think about all the time. It's so good. So, Out of the Blue, Dennis Hopper. Check it.
That's a great recommendation.
Pretty, but not edible.
So, Matt, I heard we were sleeping lately.
That's terrible. How dare you?
You're going to do it.
My other recommendation this week is, yes, one of my favorite films, Paul Schrader's Light Sleeper from 1982.
Yes, it feels.
I'm obsessed with this movie.
Big Schrader-heads over here.
Big Schrader-heads. This is, depending on my mood, my favorite Paul Schrader movie. The other option would be Mishima.
I haven't seen that one, actually.
Tremendous.
Okay.
But that aside, I saw this movie in the theater when it came out. I've seen it dozens of times. I used to own it on VHS. I watched it over and over again. I've had like a limited amount of time to watch older stuff or find things to recommend on this show. And so I was going through my Blu-ray collection the other night, like, what should I talk about? Oh, Light Sleeper. I can talk about this without having to rewatch it.
Right.
And then I was like, I'm just
But
gonna
I'll
have to
rewatch
stay up
it
late and
anyways.
rewatch it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I watched it last night, and it's just as good as it always was. So Willem Dafoe plays like an upscale, hand-to-hand drug dealer in the early 90s in New York City.
I need a quarter. You got it?
Robert sold you a quarter yesterday.
That was an eighth. And some friends came over.
Yeah.
It takes place during a garbage strike, and the garbage strike is really, really great. For years, as a young person watching movies, I was like, why does this take place during a garbage strike? Like, what is the metaphor here? And it's just the accumulation of trash in your life.
Yeah.
The accumulation of the shit you're not dealing with.
And no
So
one's
good.
dealing with it for you.
Yeah, exactly. So it just keeps piling up and piling up and piling up. And so this is a guy who is at a midlife crisis. He doesn't know what he's going to do with his life. The sort of organization, for lack of a better term, that he works for, which is basically his boss, Susan Sarandon, and their other partner, Dennis O'Hare, who plays a guy named Robert. It's just the three of them who are buying drugs and reselling them on the street. That association is going to come to an end soon because Susan Sarandon wants to move into like a legit business stream. She wants to sell cosmetics. So he's worrying about that coming to an end. There's some local trouble in the scene that is drawing the cops into their operation.
Heck, maybe I will. Huh? What do you think about that? Nobody give a flying fuck. Look like narcotics to you, asshole? I'm homicide.
And also he comes into contact again with his old girlfriend's maybe wife, played by Dana Delaney.
I mean, it's not like we're strangers after all. We were married.
We were not.
There was a ceremony.
He wasn't even a minister. He was an astrologer.
He was also a minister.
They sort of rekindle their relationship, and that has really, really disastrous consequences to his life. This is yet another of Schrader's riffs on the Bresson movie Pickpocket. If you're familiar with his work, he kind of remakes Pickpocket every few years. He wrote a very seminal text about Bresson. If you look at this, or The Card Counter, which is his recent film, or First Reformed, or American Gigolo, specifically American Gigolo, this and Card Counter have the same ending, the same final scene. That's the final scene of Pickpocket. So he's constantly sort of repeating these tropes and re-exploring them in different ways. This is my favorite of his Pickpocket riffs. It also has a tremendously idiosyncratic musical score by a guy named Michael Bean. The songs in it are really like, they're almost like high school poetry.
Pray that love will comfort me and life will never
lyrics are really, really
I don't remember
expressive.
this.
I mean, rewatch it. You might as well just watch it again.
You don't really have to convince me. I'll be doing it.
But yeah, the lyrics in the songs are really, really portentous and explosive and expressive. The music's really idiosyncratic. It doesn't really fit into any mold. He wanted to get like Dylan and Springsteen to do the score for it, but that fell through, of course, and so he got this. Willem Dafoe, probably my favorite Willem Dafoe performance, except for Last Temptation of Christ. He's amazing in this. And he plays it like almost like a flip side of his villain character in To Live and Die in L.A. I don't know if you remember him, if you've seen that or if you're familiar with that movie. In To Live and Die in L.A., he plays a counterfeiter who's also a tormented artist who's in such throes of existential angst that he paints expressionist paintings and then immediately sets them on fire. So this is like the more positive version of that character. Like he's really trying to be like a better man and like do the right thing with his life, but he's so racked with guilt and existential angst. So he journals all the time, fills up marble composition notebooks with his journaling, and then immediately throws them out when they're full.
A DD told me when a drug dealer starts writing a diary, it's time to quit. I started writing after that. Not every night, now and then. Fill up one book, throw it out, start another.
It's such a like emo thing to do.
It's very.
One of my favorite things in this movie is you see one of the pages that he's written in his journal, and it's a chart. And on one side it says, it's like 2 columns, and one side says people whose eyes don't match, and the other side is left-handed people. And so he just made a list of this for himself.
Was I on the side of left-handed people? Because I am.
No.
Oh.
But I mean, how old are you in 1992?
3.
There you go. He probably just didn't know you yet.
I know, not yet.
He didn't know yet. I could go on and on and on about this movie. I also have it on very good authority that this is probably the most accurate version of like upscale hand-to-hand drug dealing that you could possibly imagine in the 1990s. It's dead on.
You know? I mean, the idea of God presupposes the existence of God. You know, that's the ontological argument. That's Anselm. That's 1200 or 1400. I'm not sure. I gotta get going. No, don't leave. Don't listen to her. Stay. Listen, this is a good part. So, if the idea of God is implanted by God, the sensus divinitatis, the sense of the divine, you know, then what is the role of human thought? You know? Not faith.
Everybody wants to talk.
Also features a stellar supporting cast. In addition to Dana Delaney and Susan Sarandon, you also have Mary Beth Hurt. Baby Sam Rockwell shows up for a second as a drug dealer named Jealous.
Very cool.
And also Victor Garber as sort of the villain of the piece. And man, I can't recommend this movie highly enough. I watched it last night. I kind of already want to rewatch it again just talking about it right now. So please, I beg you to watch Light Sleeper.
The cops are coming back to talk to me. I'm hyper. I gotta calm down. This would never happen in Zurich.
All right, dog movie.
Dog movie time.
Dog movie time.
What did you pick?
I picked... What? I picked Rottweiler. .3D, aka Dogs of Hell, directed by Worth Keeter?
Worth Keeter. Worth Keeter directed a ton of Power Rangers episodes.
Yeah.
He also directed 2 really fun spy spoof movies featuring a character named Duncan Jacks. Yep. And one's called Unmasking the Idol, and that recently played at the Beacon. And there's a sequel called Order of the Black Eagle, and they were financed by a car dealership guy.
Cool.
So they have a ton of fancy cars in them for some reason also. Yeah, they're really fun. You should check them out. He has like a pet monkey, all this good stuff.
He also directed another dog movie called Doggone, aka Ghost Dog, A Detective Tale, which we might have to
That might have to go on the list.
I thought this was going to be... I think I was going and expecting the worst, and because it wasn't unwatchable, or like very, very, very bad quality, I was okay with it.
Unwatchable, because I watched it.
Yeah, same.
But it's not very good.
It's not great, no.
It takes place in this little town. There's a sheriff. There's some teenagers going on, a camping, sex trip.
Yeah, it takes place in Lake Lure, America's mountain playground is what they call it.
Have the time of your life in Lake Lure, North Carolina, winner of the official Best Mountain Lake Getaway.
Lake Lure?
Lake Lure is the ideal place to get away. Come to unwind and relax from your daily grind.
Yeah, Lure.
All right.
Lake Lure.
Lake Lure has much to offer any outdoor enthusiast.
America's mountain playground.
Lake Lure is a crown jewel of North Carolina, tucked away in the Blue Ridge Mountains.
Because it's a bunch of mountains and then there's a lake in the middle.
Okay.
And so it's just this small town, everyone knows each other, that kind of community. Touristy a little bit, but mostly just the people that live there. But we get this backstory about these government dogs.
Yes, there's this backstory about these government dogs. The government has been training Rottweilers to kill, to do, you know, army shit.
If I'm to believe Fletcher's report on the destructive capability of these creatures.
You can believe it, sir.
Yeah, and it started out with one guy's idea, and
it's gotten way out of control.
And it got way out of control.
But Colonel, it's just too dangerous to continue.
Because as they said, there was a loss of human affection response, which I loved how they like went into it. They were like,
then it happened. One of the dogs developed a malevolent presence. Seemed evil. I tried to explain what this was leading to, but the military brass just wouldn't listen. They went ahead with the project, beyond all limits.
What was it leading to?
A loss of the human affection response, which means the animals actually began to hate human beings.
These dogs, as long
these dogs
as they
to be
still like,
killers.
as long as these dogs still loved their humans and were down for like pets and some treats and they loved cuddles and everything, they were fine because they were controllable. But as soon as they lost the human affection response and began to hate humans, that's when they were extremely dangerous. And that's what this one frazzled scientist who's like, I was only trying to help. That's when shit went bad for him, and then the government was like, "Oh, we're taking this over."
They totally Full Metal Jacketed these dogs.
Yeah, they did,
and they just fucked them right up in the name of murder too. They didn't do it for like a good cause.
No,
either.
no, they're murderous weapons.
Weapon? Not a weapon, Colonel. A weapon you can control.
And they're transporting them in a
semi
truck, in just like a normal semi truck.
A regular ass truck.
For security reasons, we decided to use a civilian transport. No sense advertising.
And the guy
truck.
just gets in a regular ass accident.
Yep. And the dogs get loose.
It's like not even an accident. It's not like, oh no, something on the truck explodes and this happens or whatever. It's like the guy just like doesn't really know. He like is reaching for something or something like that, and then he just gets in a car accident, and the dogs get loose.
And that's a half an hour into this 90-minute movie. Like, it takes a long
We get a lot
time
of
for some shit
context
to happen.
It's because we're meeting the people of Lake Lure.
I defy you to tell me who any of them are beyond the sheriff.
The sheriff. That was who I was going to
That's
say.
it.
No, wait, the bartender guy.
Right, the bartender guy.
Poor sad sack bartender guy.
Did you like how the bar that they hang out at is called the Underground, but you have to go upstairs to get to it?
I loved it. Okay, I fucking loved it. And the Underground.
Apparently, that's a real place.
The Underground rules.
Yeah.
I would like to hang out there. The bartender at the Underground, he has a begrudging friendship with the local sheriff. There's one touching scene kind of towards the end where they're talking and the sheriff's like, it sucks. Sometimes I don't know if I can do this job. And the bartender's like,
But I've been around here long enough to know the winners from the losers here.
You're not cut out for this work.
Bullshit.
No, I'm not cut out for it.
You do your job quietly, with compassion. Me, I'm too excitable.
Also, the Underground has a mud wrestling ring in the middle
For
of it.
some reason, yeah, there's a little mud pit.
I
Yeah.
love it. So when the sheriff and the bartender are talking, the bartender's like, you saw me during that mud wrestling fight. Like, I was going to kill those guys, but you broke it up. You are the man for this job. He's like, I hate cops, basically, but I respect the shit out of you or whatever. And they finish their beers and, you know, male affection.
Sure.
Salute.
So yeah, there's that guy. That's the second citizen.
There's his shitty son.
Ben.
Yeah, who wants to go on a sex camp trip with his friends.
Ben gets so irrationally mad when his mom opens the door on him doing nothing.
The door was shut, Mother.
It's not even like he was jacking off. He was just laying there. And he's like, Mom, this is my room. You gotta knock. And she's like, sorry,
And also he's
laying
30.
out everywhere. Yeah. And then the
scene where
sheriff
he
is like
goes
really
to the
mad at him.
bartender guy and is like, "Hey, can you get me a couple kegs of beer for my party out on the beach?" And the bartender's like, "If your dad, the sheriff, says it's okay." And he's like, "My dad doesn't have to know about it."
Yeah, Ben's a little piece of shit.
He's a little piece of shit.
Oh, stuff it, Tad. Oh, great. Just great.
Come on, Maisie, let's dance.
Later, okay?
Shit.
So you might be wondering why we're not talking about the dogs. Well,
They're
because
barely
they're
in it.
barely in it. Even when there's dog attacks, which I believe the first one's like 30 minutes in, we don't actually see these attacks. They happen off screen.
Off camera.
Yeah. We have one scene where there's a bunch of models at this campground and they're having this night shoot.
Which is
You
what you
remember
do.
this?
Yeah.
Enjoy the hell out of this lovely vacation spot, will you? Forget about the mosquitoes and the bugs. Don't think that there might be snakes with gaping mouths waiting to devour your lovely little bodies.
Oh, Mason, did you have to say that?
These models all get massacred, but we don't see anything happen. We just see a lot of blood against the tents, the tent walls, and we hear a lot of screaming. But we know these Rottweilers
I think you
are on
kind of
the
see like a
loose.
girl's throat get ripped
Yeah,
open.
it's like a very kind of clayish, just like grab of the skin.
But oh god, I was so bored during this movie. Show
During
the
this
people
night
where you
shoot.
wrote "I'm zoning out" during this movie.
Oh yeah, at the very end, I just wrote.
Also, if you
Totally
can't see
zoning out.
Emily's handwriting is immaculate, by the way.
Yeah, you guys, I have no. Remember my. If you guys are OG watchers, you'll remember my light pink notebook from a year ago. And then we get the flashbacks to the government people being like, "Oh no, we lost the truck."
We've lost the transport.
And then the one guy who's like, "Yeah, this was my project. Why are you guys taking this?"
And he shows up in the town eventually.
because he's like, "I have to find these dogs. I'm the only one who I think can still train
Yeah,
them."
and he does like the dogs. He does,
Yeah, he wants to save
He wants
them.
to see them saved. Yeah.
And I'm also on that side because they're just misunderstood good boys.
I'm on the side of the dogs in this case, given the fact that I don't care about any of the townspeople, and you barely see the dogs. I'm like, when are the dogs going to show up? And if I have to deal with them killing some innocent asshole, then I'm totally fine with that. And then there's the big conflagration at the end where like the house is on fire.
Where's Ben?
I don't know.
We gotta get you out of here.
But the dogs!
The dogs are inside.
And apparently there are some of the dogs around. There's like 12 dogs, we're told, but we only see like 2
We
or
only
3.
see a few because I'm pretty sure there's only a few.
And then at the end, they blow their heads off.
Yeah.
Really graphically, these shots of their
See, I don't even remember
dogs.
that because I feel like I was
Oh
just
my
like
God.
falling asleep.
They shoot the dogs in the head with this .357 Magnum, and their heads just go like splattering all over the place.
Those poor guys.
I was really bummed out about
Those
it.
poor guys. The new sheriff or the new police guy who was, I'm going to be a lawyer, I'm going to go to law school. And
Oh, Hank, great news.
Got a new girlfriend, huh?
Don't I wish? No, I just got the word. I've been granted financial aid for my final year of law school.
he was on a boat and he was going across a lake to like, I think he was just trying to bust like making out, teens who were making out in their
They
cars
need to be
and stuff.
busted.
They need to be busted.
Guess I better get out there. 'Tis a season for love, you know. Those horny bastards will be all over the back cove.
I don't know what I'm trying to say. He was attacked by a dog. Oh, you know what though? We saw later. See, this movie is just coming to me in
No, it
fragments.
totally zoned us out.
We saw later there was like a bunch of kids partying on the beach shore, and we see a police boat headed towards the shore really slowly, and everyone's like, "Oh God, we're gonna get busted." And at that moment, I was like, "Oh my God, please, please let this police boat be full of the Rottweilers just standing on the boat because I think that would be really fucking funny."
Totally.
But it was just the dead body of the young police guy who was gonna be a lawyer. R.I.P.
This movie could have been better if it had A, more dogs, B, more dog attacks,
B, more dogs on boats,
C, more dogs on boats, and D, at 90 minutes should have been even shorter.
There was cool. The police cars looked pretty cool. They were like weird, chunky. I'm not a car girl, but they were like. But they like looked. They looked like this. The vehicle looked cool, and that's like all I have to say about.
This movie sucked. Allegedly, this was shot in 3D.
Oh yeah, we didn't talk about that at all.
But there isn't even any stuff in it where they
There's-
like throw things at the camera.
There's no.
We didn't
maybe
watch
it's
it in
3D
3D
when you're
obviously.
walking upstairs to the underground, or the mud wrestling. Who knows?
Yeah,
I
it was
didn't even look.
totally
I don't think
not
there's a lot of information on like who these dogs were, so I couldn't give you guys
It's
any
not
like
easy
dog
to
acting.
find. Like, it's hard to see.
It's hard. It's hard to see. So, but if you
But
guys
it's not
want to
really
get
worth
your hands
seeing.
on it, you can rent it from Scarecrow Video.
How many paws would you give this, Emily?
I'd give it 1.5 paws.
That sounds about right to
Yeah.
me. I would agree with you. 1.5 paws.
Yeah. But hopefully our
Let's
next
skip it.
movie is going to be more paws.
But
maybe
I think,
it might be though. I think it'll make us laugh a little.
I'm hoping this will have some real bingo energy to it.
Me too.
So next dog movie is going to be C-Spot Run, which is right now in our R.I.P. Paul Sorvino section.
Lick it.
That guy's in the cage.
He's stuck in the cage.
The smart one isn't wearing any pants. Apparently, this is about a secret agent FBI dog that goes into witness protection.
I'm really excited about
I
this.
can't wait.
I think this is just what we need.
This is exactly what we need.
Yeah.
And Bill Deal from ABC Radio Network calls it a hilarious treat.
And David Arquette. I mean,
David Arquette's in it?
I love him.
Amazing.
I'm pretty sure.
Who
Unless I
else
just
is
made
in
that
this?
up.
David Arquette, Michael Clark Duncan, Leslie Bibb, Paul Sorvino. This is going to be great.
Yeah, I think we're gonna have a lot of fun with this.
C-Spot Run.
And we'll talk about
before
it next time.
Before next Viva.
I mean all this just to transport a bunch of dogs.
Rottweilers, sir. The breed supposedly dates back to the time of Christ.
That's a curious remark.
All right, episode 46 in the
bag.
bucket. Is there anything in that bucket besides just stickers that we forgot to put out?
There's an Orbit DVD in Asheville, North Carolina sticker in here.
Oh, cool. We should throw that somewhere.
Let's put that on here somewhere. There's no room.
There's no room. Put it on the bucket.
Put it on the. Well, no, we'll put it. We'll
Throw it
put it
on
on.
the throw it on the
We'll
bucket.
put it on the bucket. The fuck it bucket.
Fuck a bucket. Thank you for watching episode 46. Make sure you check out our YouTube channel and subscribe and share this and like it. Show your friends. Show your family. Put it on your social medias. Tag us in whatever you're doing.
At Physical Viva on Twitter.
Physical Viva on Twitter.
Viva at
Scarecrow.com. Come to the store if you're in the Seattle area, or you can always rent by mail. Check out how to do that on our website, Scarecrow.com.
Send us some swag too.
Some swag.
I wear a medium.
I wear a large.
Excellent.
And we would also love to drink beers.
I like a ball cap too. I don't wear mine on the show because you can't see my beautiful eyes under this light, but I do like a ball cap.
He likes a ball cap. You look good in a ball cap.
Thank you.
Yeah, so check out our Scarecrow's podcast, Scarecrow Radio. Check out Mark Steiner's Soundtrack Cinema. We're
Check out
linking to
our
everything.
podcast, The Suspense is Killing Us.
Yes, please check that out. I really enjoy doing that, and I'm watching a lot of really fun, sometimes good, sometimes bad movies.
Yeah.
But it's all good. All the links to all the shit is below. And I don't know, is there anything else you want to say?
Viva Physical Media?
Viva Physical Media. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Cheers.